The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, the police investigation into the Adriel Moxy murder case takes a new turn as a different man fesses up to the crime. Meanwhile, residents on Mayaguana taking roadworks into their own hands yesterday, filling huge potholes and mixing sand to get the job done. We get the full story on why they had to take these measures. And another Bahamian being elected to local government in the United States, this time in the state of Texas. We also speak with him tonight. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, a new person of interest has been arrested in connection with the death of 12-year-old Adriel Moxy. The Anatole Rogers student was found reportedly strangled and sexually assaulted in the Marshall Road area in the vicinity of her school, her church, and her home. Senior police officials confirmed this major breakthrough to Eyewitness News earlier today, and sources close to the investigation told Eyewitness News team that this new male suspect reportedly confessed to Moxy's murder. Now, it is unclear how police made this new discovery after outgoing police commissioner Clayton Fernanda revealed just days after Adriel's death that a mentally unstable man was believed to be responsible for the young girl's death. DNA samples had also reportedly been sent abroad for testing. Now, while there has been no update on the results of that DNA testing, it is also unclear if the mentally unstable man has been cleared from this investigation. This development is unexpected, yet good news if it turns out to be true for the sake of Adriel's family and loved ones. And we hope it's not someone seeking attention by association. You know, that happens as well. Well, Beyond the Headlines will follow this developing story for you and bring you the updates as they become available to us. We now turn our attention to the island of Mayaguana. A touching video surfaced yesterday of residents performing roadworks, you all heard me right, roadworks. In the hot Mayaguana sun with tools in hand and filling potholes, mixing sand and more. Take a look at their work yesterday. Okay, so there you see, obviously, poor road conditions. The road was so awful, they said, that they had to pull to the side, driving in bush to try and just escape those potholes and get through. We will speak with many of those residents. In fact, many of the crew right there. Those are residents, by the way. I use crew loosely. But the team that was on that roadway yesterday. Joining me now is Iris Charlton DePass, Linda Charlton, Eduardo Charlton, Mario Murphy, Ernell Brown. Hello to all of you. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you here.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Listen, first of all, good job, eh? A good deed at Christmas time. To all of you, a good job. How did yesterday's roadworks come about?
Well, when I came to the island in September of this year, I had been back and forth on and off the island. I noticed that the road conditions were pretty awful. But as a newcomer, I decided to sit small and, wait until my name called, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And after a few months, nothing improved. And it was brought to my attention by the school children. They were saying how awful it is that they have to be driven to school on the side of the road instead of on the main road because that's how bad it was. And so after
And slow down right there. This is Iris, yes?
yes, this is Iris.
Slow down right there, because when they say driven to school on the side of the road, how I guess jaunting was that? And I imagine with the up and down of having to maneuver through potholes and then going to the side of the road where there's bush. Describe fully for us how that drive to and from school was for them on those roadways.
When they mentioned that, I felt so, it was depressing. Just let me say that. It was depressing, and I felt for them as students coming to school, because you would assume, that if you're coming to school, you're going to come fresh and all that. But by the time they got to school, they would have been bombarded by being bumped up and down, going on the side of the road, because the situation is that we're now trying to address is that the roads are so bad that in some spaces, in some places, that you have to come off the road because so many big holes are in the middle of the road. The drivers have to come off the road to avoid them. And so you're looking at stretches of roads that have that kind of situation happening, and it's impacting everything on the island, including education, as we are speaking about at this time.
So it's almost like residents, including students, twice a day have to go through an obstacle course to get to and from. Tell us about your personal experience. How do you find driving on the streets?
It's like a maze. It's like a maze, and some places you don't know where to go, and you just have to slow down, and you have to go through the holes. But if you're trying to be smart, you have to think, you have to navigate, you have to do all of those things at one time. You have to go really, really slowly, just to make sure that your vehicle, or whatever vehicle you're riding in, is not damaged. And that's how bad it is. And it's been that way for a long time. We have a counselor, Mr. Terry Brooks, who has been on the island for a long time, fixing the holes. And he can tell you a little bit about that as well, because he's one of the persons who started the whole drive.
Well, Linda, please jump in here. And I want you all to jump in. Don't wait for me to call your names. Just don't speak over each other. But let's just talk, Linda Charlton, about just how awful the roadworks are. The state of the road is, and how difficult it's been. How long has it been that way? Unmute your mic.
The road is horrible. Like Iris said, the road has been like that for some time, and it's really, I fear for the children. I myself fear for the children, because you have to go on one side to prevent an accident. If somebody's behind you, you have to go on one side. Sometimes that person is trying to overtake you because they don't know if you're stopping or you're just slowing down. And it's really horrible. When it rains, you don't know where to go, because you drop into a hole. You can't see the hole because of water. Mm-hmm. And I've had many experience on that road.
Yes.
At one point, I thought my whole vehicle was going to go into a hole. That's how bad and how deep the hole is. I end up with a flat tire driving on that road. And it's deplorable.
So you all have had to spend money repairing vehicles, etc., because of all the damage caused, especially if it rains. We know the potholes, you can be blinded by them because of the water covers the holes.
Yes, people have lost chassis. Sorry, Linda. People have lost and had to repair chassis and arms, whatever arms. I'm not very good at those mechanical terms. Maybe Terry can step in at this time and explain some of the mechanical issues we've been having in terms of repairing vehicles. And you're looking at things like persons who are renting cars, and you're looking at residential cars or vehicles and rentals. Those persons who are trying to be entrepreneurs at this time, they're suffering because of stuff like this.
And I imagine it's really, the issue is compounded because this is a far-flung island to all the way south. And so when you're trying to run a rental car company, for example, and take advantage of the small amount of tourists and Bahamians that come to the island, the last thing you need to do is make repairs. Right, Terry? Is this the gentleman from local government?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Talk about that, sir.
I don't even know, honestly, I don't even know where to begin to have the conversation about the challenges in terms of trying to run a rental company. I myself attempted it briefly because the holes are so great that, and then you can't blame persons who are renting because they don't know the roads. And sometimes your vehicles comes back so damaged that I came to the point where, hey, you know what? Let other persons take on the task of renting. The loss is too great for me to try.
So you had to shut down your business, your income, because the roads are so awful. And I was about to ask Iris if she spoke with local government or some official, but you are the official. Well, then, did you speak and make representation to your member of parliament to try and get the attention of authorities who are responsible for roadworks to get on the island?
Yes, ma'am. The chief councillor and I must commend my chief councillor in his absence. He's been working tirelessly, trying continuously in communication with the member of parliament as well as persons from Ministry of Works. We've been advocating for patches. In the beginning of our term in council, we got lucky because we asked and they gave us, I think it was like 8 sacks of whole patch, and we were able to begin the process of what we thought would have continued for us to that same area that you see us did the little bit of community work yesterday. We started that with the patch, and after we ran out, the chief councillor, he continuously reached out to persons in Ministry of Works, and we were always told, it's a list. Right now, you're at the back of the waiting list.
Well, how y'all get to the back, though? How you get to the back? What your MP saying?
Should we be live?
Talk, Terry. Yeah, I want you to be live with the MP saying.
I am saying what the MP is saying.
Oh, what he say? Or the MP told y'all to the back of the list?
No. Persons from Ministry of Works told the chief council that it's a list of other islands who need patch, and that because we got some already, it pushed us to the back of the list. I guess the list hasn't reached the back yet because we're still waiting, and we're at the point where.
And how long ago was that been?
We came. Was it 3 years ago? Oh wow! Oh, time flies.
So that should have been circled around a long time.
Time flies because coming next month, us who are now in will be out, and the new council body will be coming in.
So then you have watched, Terry, you have watched over the past 3 years the road conditions in Mayaguana deteriorate to the point that they are craters, not even holes. That that you obviously cannot maneuver through them, and that is why you have to damage your vehicles even further by trying to drive in the bush to avoid them.
Shanique, you can ask any Mayaguanian, and they will tell you, for years on years, I have been by myself using my trucks. I'm on my second truck because I couldn't take the holes in the road, especially that same area that you saw us working. I couldn't take it, that I was using my own personal trucks by myself, and I was just dumping fill after fill after fill to bring it up because the holes were even worse than what you see now is nice compared to what it used to be for years and years and years on end. I have been fighting that road. Me and that road have what you call a serious rivalry because I've been at the point where I've given up, and it wasn't until Iris came back in September, and the first thing she said to me was, we need to get a team together and we need to fight this road because it's horrible, it's deplorable, and she can tell you immediately, I was like, let's do it. I said, whatever it takes, let's do it. This has nothing to do with us waiting for government because we're not kids. We're not going to be spoon-fed. If we don't take the stand and try to make it happen, it will never happen. And I'm not trying to demean or bring down any government because both parties have been there. But
no, both of these holes ain't just. But okay, then you know what? Good question.
These are not new holes.
Did the holes just happen in 2021?
These are not new holes because.
So Terry, you didn't answer that. Well, answer that same question right there.
2021.
Yes. Did the holes appear in 2021?
The hole's been there so long, I don't even remember which year it was. No, it wasn't 2021. I can't even remember when that was.
Before.
Yeah, we had holes way before that, and then this is the amazing part. We got new roads. Immediately after the new roads, the holes came, and the government sent the contractor back twice, and they was like, the contractor is going to come back and correct the mistake.
So the
I guess they didn't find the mistake. I guess they haven't found the mistake yet because here we are sitting here having a conversation with you, explaining to you and the rest of the Bahamas, the rest of the world.
Did the contractor ever show up?
The contractor actually showed up.
To correct the mistakes?
Looked at the area, and at the time the contractor came, this is what's so amazing. We had just gotten, and this was even before I got into local government. We had gotten some coal patch in the little bags with the sand, and the contractor said to tell us not to put the patch in the road because it's going to make their repairs difficult. So we were stopped. And then after waiting, the year went by. The next year, I was like, you know what? I already see it's not going to happen. And as a Mayaguanian, I drive the road daily. There's only so much ducking and swerving you can do before you're off the road. So I went back to my old-fashioned, fill it with fill, just throw fill in the holes. And then after time went by, you had questions who were like, you know what? If you can do it, we can do it. And here we are today. Fast forward too many years later.
Yes.
And what I like about Shanique, what I like about your show is, I believe you're a blessing for Mayaguana because when we stopped you a few months back, we pulled you off the plane. I don't know if you remember. It was me and my colleague, Mr. Brown, who pulled you off the plane and sent you down. Hey, take a look at the terminal. We need you to put us on your show.
Yes.
We got, but we believe, we can see we got great response immediately. So, in a sense, it looked like we need our kryptonite for our
Well, you need proper roads because Justin, if you could stick, I know I go into a break, Justin. If you could just stick that video in again, just to show these. Was it hot yesterday?
Hot is an understatement.
Did you all have on sunscreen? Because I want you to talk to your MP about, and every official about those roadworks. I also want to say that the I group stepped in yesterday to assist you all with trying to get sand and whatever you need to hopefully patch up the work.
They were the ones who actually donated the cement.
To make the event happen. There it is in the hot. And listen, if you all know down south, it's a different level of sun over there in the southern Bahamas. Also, the I group as well is building a new, or perhaps continuing the work on a new airport terminal that you all, I understand, are expecting that to be done in the next few months. Yes?
Correct.
Absolutely. Listen, let's talk again. Bring me up to date. I want to follow this development there, and congratulations to you all. Good job. The citizens stepped up and fixed the roads. Does the MP drive through the community at all?
He has driven through the community. That road is not a secret.
Okay, it's not a secret.
Everything that goes on here is not a secret.
It's the worst kept secret in Mayaguana. Okay.
No one can, no politician can tell you that they're lost. Don't know what's going on. It's not a secret.
It's not a secret. I thank you all. I thank you all very much. I do have to go to a break, and I want to thank Idris, Iris Charlton DePass, Linda Charlton, Eduardo Charlton. To you, Terry, your last name escapes me. He's the local government representative. Forbes, also.
Brooks.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes. Thank you thank you all very, very much. By the way, blessings and Merry Christmas to you all. Let's catch up again so we can see what's happening on the road with the new airport terminal and everything else in Mayaguana. Thank you all very, very much. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to shift gears and still talk about some national issues, but from the youth point of view. Beyond the Headlines is back after this.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
What? You don't know what TDC is? Tourism Development Corporation?
You mean the Ministry of Tourism?
No, that ain't the same thing, buddy. The Tourism Development Corporation helps to develop and grow Bahamian businesses in the tourism industry. You hear what they say, buddy?
Oh, yeah.
Develop and grow. You don't know what all the things saying do?
What does do?
Hey, check the website, boy.
Start your journey to ownership of our #1 industry today. Log on to tdcbahamas.com.
On the river of life, where the open waters meet, we are all free to seek our own path. For some, it is a journey to the edge. For others, it's a pursuit of a mind at peace, distilling precious memories as we float where the tide takes us. It can be expeditions of one, or relentless pursuits of what eludes us. It matters not. If you hunt, if you gather, there is a personal journey to find where you need to go, to outrun any ticking clock. Through decades, wave after wave of passing time, Sea-Doo has remained here, making each ride a story, because life is unscripted. It's as open as the water. You can decide on the ride of your life.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by EV Motors. Drive the future with brand new 2024 electric vehicles. EV Motors, powering your journey.
Beyond the Headlines. This evening, I introduce you to and welcome new faces on Beyond the Headlines. They will be first-time voters in 2026 and will be a part of the Beyond the Headlines youth contributors. It will be interesting to hear their views and thoughts and what youth and first-time voters are looking for in terms of leadership in the 2026 general election and moving forward. And so, welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Aaron Junes, a former Junior Minister of Tourism, and Tafari Gibson, a member of this season's Youth in Parliament. Gentlemen, welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Thank you.
Good night, Shanique. Thank you for having us.
It's good to have you both here, I tell you. Very interesting. Let's just jump right in, shall we? Listen, what is the first-time voter looking forward to? Well, first of all, what's most pressing in the nation right now for young people, for youth, who are headed to the polls for the first time in a couple of years?
Well, Shanique, thank you for having me. And first of all, the most pressing issue is knowing what you're going for, knowing what you're looking for. As youth, I mostly advocate for mental health. You know, an administration that advocates for mental health, that advocates for youth policies, that helps youth overcome situations. Most youth generally don't have it a lot. And so we need a government that's for the youth. Usually the government usually focus on the adults and the concerns of the adults. But as a new voter, I want a government that focus on my needs, that focus on what I need and focus on how they can help me.
How about you, Aaron?
As it relates to new incoming government, what I think about as a young person and through the years, through my younger childhood years, I've watched the rallies, I've watched the press conferences, I've seen many promises made by different political organizations. It is my request, and I base my vote on who can fulfill those promises being made. I don't want a government that is promising many things, promising healthcare, promising road infrastructure, And when the time comes, we have bad healthcare protocol. The price for healthcare is unaffordable for Bahamian people. Healthcare is unaffordable, living is unaffordable. I want a government that is able to ensure that the promises being made at the start of the election or the start of the voting process or campaign process is carried out straight through their term.
Quite interesting. We talked about promises made just last night on this show, quite frankly. Gentlemen, let us just talk about the cost of living. That you mentioned being able to afford health care. You mentioned following through on promises. Many adults, I know you all say, listen, you pay attention to the adults too much, but hey, that's where you're all headed. Many adults say, you know, it's really tight in the Bahamas right now, going to the grocery store and just really quality of life, making ends meet. Your thoughts on where do young people focus on, whether it's crime in terms of things are tight, whether it is being able to shop and watch your parents complain and perhaps even you, what concerns you in any of those areas that I just mentioned?
Well, what concerns me is mental health. Yet again, this is what I advocate for. Mental health for the youth.
What is it about mental health and young people? How prevalent is that you are seeing, Tafari, from where you stand and sit, that mental health is a major issue among young people that the adults seem to be glazing over and not quite paying attention to?
Well, mental health ties in with crime. Because speaking about it with the Adriel Moxy case, you know, it was someone that was mentally challenged. It was someone that experienced these issues. So this can tie in with crime, and mental health can tie in with many stuff. So for me, it's, you know, knowing that the police are there for us, knowing that the government is there for us. So the main thing that I focus on is being safe in my country and knowing that the government hears me. For most parents, when their child talks about, committing suicide or doing this other stuff, we tend to overlook it and we tend to say, hey, I provide for you, I take care of you, I provide you with electricity, I provide you with clothes, so this is nothing for you to worry about. But there are some issues that children face that are silent battles, that parents don't know about in the schools, on the streets, at playgrounds, anywhere else. These are issues that, you know, young people tend to face in today's society.
Quite interesting. Aaron, jump in because I want to know what it is. How do you all feel about so many attempted suicides? It's probably around 1,000 now, just this year alone. And then we know of those, I hate to use the word successful suicides, but we know that others who have gone through with their attempts then. Let's just put it that way.
I'm going to answer your question, but I want to backtrack to something that was said just a tad bit earlier. You asked about what was one of the major concerns as it relates to youth. One of the most major concerns in this country as it relates to young people is the influence that is around them. Many of our crime, or many persons who are involved in crime, started out at a young age under persons who gang bang and under persons who have guns, and they posting the guns on social media, and it's something they want to be a part of. It's about killing the influence from there. It's about nipping that in the bud.
So you're
from
saying
the young
on
age.
school campuses now, it's almost like a recruitment process going on.
Yes.
And if you choose to stand on your own and say, no, I'm my own man.
Right.
I'm my own woman. I'm headed in this direction.
Right.
That peer pressure can be so tight.
Right. And the issue is, I don't believe the young persons are afraid of the law. I don't believe they care about the police. I don't believe they have fear of doing wrong. They're doing wrong continuously, and then they laughing in the police face. They posting it. They're not even afraid to hide the weapons they possess and the weed they have in their vehicles, and they post these things continuously.
So this is what you young men are now seeing. This is almost your daily experience and what you know to be true.
Right. It's becoming culture.
Yes.
It's becoming habit. It's becoming normal. We are normalizing this, and I believe the administration is not taking proper attention to assess this issue. So it's related to several things. It's related to the policing of the economy of the country. What are we doing to enforce proper rules against gun possession? If we see more and more young persons, I mean, some of them under the age of 20, under the age of 18.
Man, much younger. Yeah.
Carrying weapons in the country throughout. And I mean, they're boasting. It's not even like they're hiding it anymore. They're walking around.
So what do you think the police, gentlemen, you both are very much astute. You pay attention to the news. You pay attention to what's trending. You have decided your life is headed in one direction, and I applaud you both for this. That's why you're here this evening. But what do you think this new commissioner, if you were to have an audience with her right now, What do you think she needs to do as it relates to the youth? And I mean y'all who well on your way. And yes, you need attention as well. We sometimes, even when we pay attention to Fari, to youth, we tend to look at the troubled ones. Yes. But we'll talk about the positive in a minute. But in terms of cleaning up the streets and changing a mindset of, as you all say, it's becoming culture now. It's so troubling. What does this new commissioner, incoming commissioner, need to do and be aware of?
First of all, to piggyback off what Aaron said, firstly, it starts in the home. You know, respect starts in the home. These stuff starts in the home. And, you know, for me, it's something about having a father figure in your life. Some young men don't have a father figure. Some young men don't have a father in the home. It's just their mother. So, and it tends to come where the child is running the home. The child is telling the parent what to do. The child is telling the parent how to run this house. So you go out into the world, this child goes out into the world and tries to run society and tries to run the school system and tries to run their teachers. Secondly, it is with the police and public relation. You know, it's not cute for a police officer to bump me on the shoulder while I'm walking through John Canoe. And it's something that happens. To do what? To bump me on the shoulder.
What do you mean bump you on the shoulder?
Police they tend to have this thing where, you know, they have to look strong all the time and they staring you down in your face. I was in Mall at Marathon the other day and I told the police officer good afternoon and they didn't even care to answer me. So it's like, you look for these stuff to happen because of your attitude.
So you were saying, Tafari, boy, I can see we can have many fights here on this show. Tafari, you were saying, because you said good afternoon, the policeman say good afternoon to you. You feel as though that's a part of addressing crime. That's a part of trying to sort of just bring about this truce that's needed on the streets. The police also need to exhibit some sort of mannerisms, good, as we say, the common courtesies.
Yes.
You say that's necessary?
That's necessary because manners and respect take you through the world.
Well, officers, I hope you all listen. Incoming commissioner, I tell you, what do you mean bump you on the shoulder? What you talking about?
I had scenarios where I was walking through a crowd, and in John Canoe, you know, when police are walking through, you're scared because they're going to step on your foot, they're going to do something to make you feel intimidated. This is not something that we should be okay with. This is not, because these young men don't see it as, okay, you know, these are the police, so they see it as they're disrespecting me. I want respect too. As a young person in church, as a young person doing all these stuff, I want to feel respected too. So respect goes both ways. You can't want me to be respectful when you don't portray the same mannerisms.
Well, listen now. Do you respect the uniform?
I do.
Why is it that you first see, understand? Just pretend. Put that hat on your head for a minute. You're a police officer walking on Bay Street or wherever, some crowded area, or just on a school campus. You know how you all have those fights and everything. So all of this is happening. And the police have to have this face of aggression and authority, because why? They came there to be the law. Yes. So Bay Street is a place where tens of thousands of people are gathered. You know, all of them in there for the best intentions. It's some there to try, you know, touch upon women and all this stuff and be stupid, fight, drink, smoke, whatever it is they're there to do. We know what happens on Bay Street during John Canoe. So the police ain't have time to say, hey, young man, how you doing, etc. I see you look like you have your head on your shoulder. No, they are there truly to show all and sundry the law is here. And don't you even think about something stupid. You don't understand that, Tafari? And you think that the police must take the time out in the middle of John Canoe to show you respect?
No, that's not what I said. What I'm saying is things are done in decency and in order. There's a situation going on. You don't have to tell me good afternoon all the time. But there's some situations
Okay,
where...
listen, he's stuck on the afternoon. Yes, I agree with you, Tafari. Fine. If you are walking in the mall in a beautiful setting, the mall different than a John Canoe setting, yes. And if you say good afternoon, officer, or good day, whatever it is, yes, I agree. There should be a response. There should be. I mean, my God, we have talked about the fact that manners and respect has been tossed out the window. Here you have young men who walk around and say good afternoon, ma'am, good afternoon, sir, or officer, whatever it is, and to not respond is absolutely unacceptable, and it is disrespectful. It is, and you're right. But I'll tell you what, y'all in your age group like to think you're entitled too much. Say good afternoon and keep it moving, Tafari. Why you gotta feel insulted by that? And like somehow you know he brush up on you. I don't quite get it, gentlemen. Let's move on. We'll talk further. We'll talk more, gentlemen. When it comes to I kind of got into this segment by saying these guys will be among the first-time voters in 2026. What are you looking for in a government? How will you vote? What will be some of the deciding factors? And you don't have to say it all. You could even just say 1 point each, because this conversation continues. But what will be a deciding factor for the person or the party you vote for?
I'm going to answer that one. A part of it is I'm looking now before election time to see what both parties are doing, right? So we understand that the PLP is in power. They are the current administration. And the FNM, you got to call it for what it is. I'm realizing that the FNM is doing a lot of calling out of the PLP, but I personally am not seeing promises, or I'm not seeing what could be done different by the FNM. So I realize the realization of flaws in the current administration. I realize things that have been going wrong by the FNM, from the FNM. But I'm not hearing what the FNM will do when put in those positions or in those places.
So you were saying 18, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
As an 18-year-old, you hear no plans. It's no appeal for you. It's no attraction for you to say, okay, if I don't look at the PLP and FNM, if I am to look at you, you're giving me nothing to look at.
Exactly. You're getting issues from the current government, the PLP government, and all I've been seeing on every live stream, every press conference, every meeting, was FNM members talking about the bad work or the bad leadership of the PLP, acknowledging the faults. Yes, we should acknowledge the fault, but as the opposition, what are you doing to give the people an ideal, the young people an ideal of what you intend to do if elected in? We don't really want to hear the flaws.
Because you see it it glaringly in your face.
We see it ourselves. We see it ourselves in the country every day. What we want to hear is answers to the problems you are also presenting to us.
Now, Tafari, you two will be at the polls for the first time in 2026. You're a little younger than Aaron. What is it that you want to see, or perhaps you agree with him and want to pick up from where he left off, but what is the one thing that will determine who you vote for?
I do agree with Aaron. You know, we only address the flaws, but how is the administration that wants to come in, what are you going to do for us? One thing I'm going to look at is the leadership, because the Bible talks about when the righteous lead, the people rejoice, and when the wicked lead, the people mourn. So I want to know, how can this administration help me, and what they can do for me in this upcoming election.
Okay, what do you all think of the leadership right now? Brave Davis, quick.
Well, you put me on the spot. Wow. I admire his moves and what he does. However, I believe that if there was just a bit more transparency, I'd be more satisfied, more comfortable in my lean towards him.
Michael Pintard. Go ahead, and then you quick.
Michael Pintard, I believe, I'm saying things to them as well. Actually, he has good leadership skills. He's able to talk. He has the voice of communication. However, what is he communicating? What is actually being said? And what am I receiving from what he says?
You don't understand it?
Not all the time, no.
Brave Davis.
Brave Davis is a very smart guy. He's a very intelligent guy. But we just need transparency, like Aaron said, transparency and honesty to know what's going on in our country. Michael Pintard, he's also a very smart guy, but patience is the key. We need to understand what you're saying. We need to know where you're coming from and the plans that you have.
When you say understand, what happened? When he talks, there's no traction?
It's often said that politicians say a lot without saying a lot.
Yeah,
so you may say a lot of words, you may say essays, but what are you actually trying to convey to the people?
Gentlemen, I thank you both very much. Listen, you can see that they're going to be quite interesting to listen to and have here, and just to really have a good time with. I look forward to it. Thank you both very much. Quite astute young gentlemen.
Pleasure.
Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we're going to speak with another guy who started just like them. That's right, and is now a member of the City Council in the state of Texas. We'll see which city coming up after the break.
Michelle. What up, y'all? It's your girl K Michelle. December the 28th, I'm going to be in the Bahamas. I'm coming to sing some songs. Yes, Bahamas. K Michelle. We gonna light some candles tonight. Very special. Life Jennings.
Yo, what's up? Nassau, Bahamas. Life Jennings is performing December 28th.
And Jay Holiday.
Yo, what's good, man? It's me, your boy Jay Holiday. I'm going to be performing performing live on Saturday, December 28th.
At the Nassau Cruise Port. Early bird tickets are now available online. Powered by 103.5 The Beat. Nightlife Entertainment. Alpha Sound Promotions. Free Bands Entertainment. 242 Party and Playhouse.
See y'all, Bahamas, December 28th.
It's the most luckiest time of the year. There'll be things that are spinning and cash prizes winning. Just Big Bang is here. It's the most luckiest time. Yes, the most luckiest time. Oh, the most luckiest time of the year.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Island Luck.
Time of the year.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Well, Ricardo Miller is no stranger to many of us here in the Bahamas, a youth preacher, a life and a career coach, and now a member of the city of, I think it's Dallas, but certainly the city council there in the state of Texas. We'll hear what city in just a moment. Council member Miller, hello to you. Congratulations. Merry Christmas and welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Does it feel good to hear me say, welcome, Councilman Miller?
It feels great, Shanique. Thank you so much for having me. Good evening, Bahamas. It's a joy, Shanique.
Oh, listen, I am so happy for you because I've known you for a minute now. We've seen the various conferences you've held here. And I had some young men on just before your segment. And to think that you started out as a troubled youth on the campus of R.M. Bailey, I think even getting kicked out, etc. Then you turned your life around and went into youth parliament and was a member of the youth parliament, etc. Just talk about how you've gone, over the last several years, moved to the state of Texas and never stopped, though. You just never stopped. Let's just talk about the journey to getting where you are at right now.
You know, Shanique, once again, thank you for having me. I learned early on by the late Bishop Dean Wells, who taught this whole concept from the Bible. He says, whatever your hands find to do, do it with all your might. And so in Montel Heights at Pentecostal Church of Faith in God, I gave my life to God, to Jesus, and then commit to living a life of constant improvement. So yes, in 1992, I left R.M. Bailey. And in 1999, I was in youth parliament. But Shanique, I made a commitment to be a lifelong learner. I made a commitment to don't allow my deficiencies to hold me back. And so the city that I am a councilman in is Red Oak, Texas, about 20 minutes outside of Dallas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is wonderful. Congratulations again. Let us talk about what led you to that. Because as far as I know, you were in the space of encouraging people to live their best lives, to live a life that is centered and built around Christ, and to realize what their potential is. But here you are. Recently, I saw Councilman Ricardo Miller.
Yes.
What pushed you in that direction?
You know, back home again, it started at home where the principal was taught by the late Dr. Miles Monroe, who talked about leadership. And I remember having a cassette tape, Shanique, years ago, where he was preaching on the topic, Born to Lead. I grabbed a hold of that message, and it was in that message I saw the need to serve the next generation. It was in that message I found myself in the first youth parliament. It was in that message I realized that it is our responsibility as individuals to serve humanity. And so whenever I showed up, I wanted to give service. And so when I was home, I was the school board chairman for the Carlton E. Francis Primary School. I served on a number of different boards while I was home. That's 25 years ago. Then when I moved here, I served on a school board. I was a part of forming the leadership board for a charter school that has over 1,000 students here in the Dallas area. So my commitment to service came from the principle we were created to be the head and not the tail, above only and not beneath. And if you see a problem, the question is, how are you adding value to help correct the problem that you see?
Yes, absolutely. Now, to the city that you are serving in, this sort of a local government capacity, what is it that you are bringing there, and what difference do you hope to make in terms of all those wonderful precepts and wonderful nuggets you've learned and gleaned over the years? What is it that you ran on, and what difference do you hope to make?
Well, one of the things that I notice is that our city is fast growing. It is one of the fastest growing cities on the outside of the Dallas Metroplex. And so one of the things I notice is the strong diversity. I noticed the large number of youth. I noticed that there were a lot of people moving in, but community engagement was not at its highest or at its best. I knew that our city needed somebody like me, which I believe I'm more of a community person. I love seeing togetherness, but I also love seeing leadership in youth. And so it was one of the things that I ran my campaign on, which was a commitment to serving the next generation, integrating all of the diverse people that's in the city and setting ourselves up for the massive growth that is happening here in the Metroplex. Shanique, the Metroplex is growing by 100,000 every year of outsiders coming in.
Yes.
Okay, 100,000 every year, this area. And so Red Oak is feeling that. And the truth is, you need young, vibrant leaders who understand diversity, who understand the need to invest in young people, who understand long-term development for the betterment of those who live here in the city.
Now, in Red Oak this holiday season, what are you doing that's different, especially with the hat that you now wear, that area has not seen before?
Well, you know, it's interesting that you said that because, you know, a lot of times, and our city is a lot like a lot of other cities, once you're elected in, you disappear. People don't see you until, in our case, it's 3 years. And so I'm visible, Shanique. I'm at everything. I believe in connecting with the people. And so what I've done, I've made myself available, and I've been trying my best to make sure, not so much from the handout side, but from the leadership and the assistance side for betterment on the long end of things. In other words, how can I help small businesses thrive this time of the year? How can I help a mother set herself up not only for Christmas, but to thrive after Christmas? How can I set up and assist the schools that are in our area that may be able to capitalize on me coming in as a city councilman to speak on behalf of leadership and the development of our young people, so the next year could be more than just the gift giving?
Listen, and I love that right there, because we'll wrap up right there on that point. You continue even on social media to sort of preach this word of responsibility and growth and becoming your best self. As we wrap up this evening, tell the people why it's okay if you cannot afford it and you scratch on your head to get that gift, knowing that after you get it, if you manage to get it, you will be hurting even more financially, that's not a good idea.
Shanique, you know, I've been teaching through my coaching program. One of the things that I've also taught neighbors and groups that I've been a part of is you got to get to the point where you don't feel bad for the decisions that you have to make that's right for you.
Yes.
And so there are decisions that have to be made. And once you know that that's the right decision, be it that you can't afford gifts, maybe you didn't put on any lights on the house, maybe you did not set yourself up to have people come to your home for Christmas, I say adjust to ensure that the long haul you can do well, not just in the immediate. And so there are some people watching us right now, Shanique, they start to talk like, I feel bad. Don't feel bad. Understand that you made it to Christmas. Right. Now what you want to do is thrive after Christmas. So go ahead and appreciate the day for what it is, but then don't feel bad. Just set yourself up for the long haul, because, you know, this is one of the things I believe, Shanique. I believe for those of us who serve our community, we should not only give handouts, we should give development opportunities.
Amazing. Love it. Listen, of course, Councilman Ricardo Miller will join me on Friday. That's in a few days. On Friday to you see what he says? That you feel so empowered and so enriched already looking at 2025 and knowing how you're going to walk through successfully 2025. Well, he's going to talk about what our posture and mindset must be for and throughout 2025. And I'm certainly looking forward to it. Thank you so much for joining me, and looking forward to seeing you on Friday.
Thank you so much, Shanique. I'm looking forward to it as well.
So am I. Thank you once again. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I want to thank all of you for tuning in for the entire show. Certainly, of course, in every segment. I hope you certainly enjoyed it. And I look forward to seeing you right back here on Friday. Meanwhile, for the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Merry Christmas, a blessed Christmas, and see you on Friday.